Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another reading. I am excited to be pulling some cards for you today and channeling some messages for you today. So, how this is going to work is I'm going to read out the intuitive messages that I channeled so that way you can get a vibe of the reading and gauge whether or not it's right for you. If you can't make it through the intuitive messages, it's probably not right for you, and that's okay. You can look through my page for other timeless readings that I have, and if you really resonate with the intuitive messages, then this reading is probably for you, and continue on listening. This is going to be just one reading. The spread that you see out is the spread. It is the cards that we're talking about today. So it's just one. It's not like a pick a card reading or anything. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow this channel so that way I know to keep making content for you. Also, check out my links down below for courses, readings, Patreon, all that fun stuff, and my official social medias. Beware of scammers. There have been people impersonating all types of astrologers and tarot readers on here, so make sure you know my official social medias so you don't fall for any scammers. Okay, so let's get into the intuitive messages that I was channeling. There's a little bit of tough love here, but it ends really beautifully, that I'll say, just based on these cards. So some of the intuitive messages I'm getting is, one, be mindful of criticism. I feel like when you judge yourself too harshly, you judge the world way too harshly. And you can be very critical of yourself. And that is then being projected by you being really critical of other people or being too harsh on other people. Maybe judging someone really strongly for one event in their life, thinking, that is an accurate representation of them. And in all reality, we can't belittle someone to one event in their life. We can't simplify someone and judge them by one event in their life. People are so complex and ever changing, especially if that event was a long time ago. And I think you might be even doing that to yourself. If not someone else, you could be doing that to yourself, really being harsh on yourself because of an event that happened a long time ago. A second intuitive message I was channeling for you is that you could be really mean to yourself about you being maybe young and dumb and not having it figured out. And the thing is, none of us do. People in their 20s don't, people in their 30s don't, people in their 40s don't, even people in their 50s are still figuring it out. And I feel like in the later 50s, people kind of start to get it together. All of the later 50s and 60-year-olds that I know seem to have it figured out, but everyone else before that still trying. So don't beat yourself up for not knowing. We are all students of life, and we are all still learning more about life and ourselves and other people every single day. So the third intuitive messages I have is that you are avoiding making mistakes at all costs, but mistakes are necessary, okay? And you are also not your mistakes. But mistakes are necessary for us to learn and to grow. So if you're avoiding making mistakes, you are also avoiding learning and growing. And another intuitive message I have is that things are not that deep or serious. You could be making things way deeper, way more serious than they actually are. And we kind of have to maybe step out, zoom out, take a chill pill, take a chill break, and relax a little bit. The last intuitive message is that I'm feeling a lot of shadow energy here for you, a lot of underlying pressure here for you, and you could just feel it building inside, and you just know things are about to explode, things are about to shift, things are about to change, something in you is about to spark. It's like when you take two rocks and you rub them together and you get a spark, there's so much pressure that it sparks. That's what I'm feeling for you. So if those intuitive messages are resonating for you, then this message is for you. And we're going to go ahead and dive into the cards now. So the first card that really sticks out to me is that Jaguar card of nourishing the shadow. Because like I was saying, I felt a lot of shadow energy and shadow work in your presence. And shadow work is the parts of ourselves that are not conscious, the parts of ourselves that we maybe suppress, ignore, and we push away, and that are tucked in the back of our mind, that are actually important and that we actually need to work on. And something that I'm feeling here is that you are rejecting or abandoning or banishing certain parts of yourself that maybe remind you of feelings of shame or guilt or embarrassment or pain, and you don't want to work through that. So you'd rather just reject that, ignore that. But then there's like that inner part of you, that inner warrior that's inside of you, your inner soldier that's inside of you that did all that fighting to protect you. That was a part of you that went through the pain, a part of you that felt that shame. You're rejecting that part of yourself, and you're distancing the relationship you have with your own self. And I think it could make you feel disconnected from other people as well, because you're disconnected from yourself and you can't be intimate with yourself on that level, and it becomes hard to be intimate with other people on that level. Or that's again where the criticizing energy comes in. And I don't think we should criticize that shadow side of us. We need to nourish that side of us. We need to love that side of us, and we need to show it more grace, more forgiveness, more empathy, and more compassion. And I think that is your major lesson here, is showing more love, grace, energy, empathy, and compassion for yourself and for other people. So that's something I'm channeling here. And I think that this energy wants to teach you more about generosity and abundance and radiance and sun energy. So when we're working in shadow, with the shadow parts of ourselves, it's very important that we get sunlight to offset that. So go out into the sun and let the sun be on your skin. Let the rays kind of send you healing energy. I highly recommend that. You may be like a night owl right now, like sleeping all day, up all night, or just kind of like busy all day, and nighttime's your free time. Try to make some free time in the day to get some sun. Hold on one second. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. But one thing that I'm getting here is that the point of you learning lessons about softness, compassion, and empathy for yourself and for other people is because the universe is preparing you for success. The universe is preparing you for lots of blessings and lots of love, and you need to be in a position to accept that. And I feel like you are not believing that that is something you deserve. And that's why the universe is having a hard time giving you those blessings, is you need to believe that you deserve empathy, compassion, and love in the first place. And that starts with you showing it to yourself. So those parts of you that you reject and that you banish and that you don't like, we need to work through that. So I'm channeling a message here of like using chaotic energy to distract yourself, so that way you don't have to hear that inner shadow side of you, that inner child, that inner warrior, that inner part of you that is suffering. You don't hear their calls for help. You are keeping yourself busy with chaos and drama and vain, stupid stuff, so that way you don't hear your inner self calling for help. And I think it's important to take time alone, be in stillness, be in peace, be in quietness, listen to your inner self calling for help, and give it the help that it needs. Whether that's therapy, counseling, professional help, whether that's astrologers, tarot readers, spiritual help, whether that's nutritionists and, health coaches for physical health, or maybe it's, life coaches and stuff for like physical matrix material help. Whatever it is that you need, give it to yourself. Maybe it's artistic, creative help that you need, or maybe it's just love. Like maybe the inner you just needs your conscious self to be on its side and to fight these battles with it and to help it heal. And I don't think this is so much about like being in the middle of a battle. This is more so about like healing the post-battle wounds. You're just leaving the wounds there, and you need to heal it. You need to attend to your own self, showing yourself that love, that compassion, that empathy, that sweetness, the forgiveness. And when you do that, I think love all around you shifts. And so another thing that I'm kind of seeing here is beware of like egotism and vanity and like self-interest as well. Like you don't want to be so into yourself. I think we need this balance of giving ourselves love, giving other people love, and then letting people give us love. Giving ourselves love, giving other people love, letting people give ourselves love. That like cycle or flow is blocked in some way. It could be different for all of you. Some of you maybe aren't accepting love from others. You don't trust love from others. Some of you aren't giving love and giving enough love. Some of you aren't showing your own selves enough love, but there's a blockage there in that cycle that needs to be removed. It needs to be addressed. And this card I have here of Splendor, Solace, the sun's splendor is coming up. And this card is really about abundance and how when we give generously, we get generously, and trying to build that momentum up for yourself. And this isn't giving to others with the intent of like, I want something back. This is giving to others with the intent of just to give, just because of altruism, just because it's for the greater good, just because someone needs it. Giving someone a hug just because they need one, you know? That's it. And then giving someone a ride home just because they need one. No, like, real, true alternative, you know, intentions. I think everyone has an intention. Your intention could be, though, just to be a good person, you know. The intention isn't always sneaky. And I think that we need to practice more of that. We need to see more of the love around us. It's interesting. We have Venus moving into Pisces this week, either Thursday or Friday. I can't remember. It's January 25 when I'm filming this, so it would either be on the 26th or 27 when Venus moves into Pisces. I'll have to double check. But that Venus and Pisces energy is all about friendship, compassion, and love. And I think you're learning that more about friendship. Something tells me you're a good friend to other people, but you're not a good friend to yourself, maybe. And we are learning to be a good friend to our own self. So I'm getting two messages here. I'm kind of feeling someone here could be very overly giving and overly self-sacrificing. And then I'm getting this message here that just somebody's not a good friend to themselves. So take whatever resonates. Maybe it's both for you. But if you're not a good friend to yourself, I think you need to treat yourself the way you treat your friends. And you need to prioritize yourself the way you prioritize your friends. Okay? And I also think that this energy is about letting yourself attract things in rather than going out there and like forcing it. Going out there and like always initiating things, kind of just letting things come to you. And the thing with attracting things is it starts by letting yourself shine, letting yourself glow. Because that's how you attract. Think bugs to a light. You need to let yourself glow first. And you're not letting yourself glow because you're not nourishing your shadow sides. You're not nourishing those parts of yourself that are asking you for attention and love and help. So give that to yourself. Start to nourish yourself. Then you shine brighter and then you start to attract things in. And I think you're really gearing up here for a new experience. I'm really feeling the vibe of Aries energy and Aries season. And Aries season this March, there's some very significant transits going down. And so that is going to be a transformative energy. And I think you're feeling the build up to that and you're feeling the pressure coming in from that. So I just want to confirm you that that's what that is and that it's okay. Like there's not going to be this build up and then a big big bad thing that happens, you know what I mean? I think it's just this build up because it's trying to open your heart. I think that's where the explosion happens that I'm feeling. It's an explosion of the heart. The heart is closed right now and it wants to open up. And that's what's happening to you is the universe is putting in pressure on a subconscious shadow side level so that way you can open your heart up to people, to your own self, and to new beginnings and new opportunities and the blessings that are meant to come your way. And I like this word of splendor, more peace, more good vibes, more love, more generosity, more kindness, more friendship, less serious, critical, negative shit, less of that. Okay. And more encouraging people, more letting your own self shine and other people shine too. Instead, I think you kind of dim yourself out and you're dimming other people out right now. And we need to flip that. We need to just be aware of that. And again, it starts with your own self by letting your own self heal and shine and showing love to yourself. And when you do, it becomes easier to show love to other people. Can I have another sip of coffee? We have that energy of Venus here and the word of beloved. And I think that you are softening right now. And I think it's an uncomfortable feeling for you because you could have been raised in like a have thick skin, be a tough person, like softness is weakness, kind of like, you know, philosophy. And I think you're breaking out of that and really seeing that your quote unquote like softest parts are your most powerful parts. And I think you're letting yourself be soft, letting yourself cry, letting yourself be emotional, letting yourself be more gentle and accepting that in, wanting gentle people around you, wanting kind people around you, soft people around you. Whereas like you could have been surrounding yourself with like really brash and harsh people and maybe people who have like mean senses of humor and stuff like that. And you may be feeling a little out of tune with that now. And it's because you are softening. You are stepping into this yin energy. You're like this just delicate flower. But it's like you've had a hard shell around you and that shell's like dissolving and there's this energy of vulnerability coming in and you don't like it and it's uncomfortable for you. But remember that vulnerability is your power and the universe wants you to unlock your power so that you can reach your full potential. And that is going to be through working through that vulnerability and getting comfortable with it and embracing it and loving that part of yourself. And I think letting other people love that too. I think you hide a lot of the vulnerable parts of yourself and you're very picky and choosy about how you project yourself and like what your Instagram looks like, what your clothes look like, what your hair looks like and all that because you want to be like seen in a certain way rather than just being seen for who you truly are at your core, you know, flaws and all. And I think that's what the universe is wanting you to move towards is surrounding yourself with people who love you for that. The core, soft, vulnerable, real, raw you. People who love you around that, a job that, you know, supports you in being that way, a style of that supports that and expresses that, a home life that makes you feel safe enough for that person to come out. Something feels like there's a deep, deep part of you that wants to come out. All right, there's like an authentic part of your soul that has been suppressed for so long and it needs love. It needs love. It wants to come out and it wants to roar. You know, I'm getting a big cat energy on both sides here with the jaguar on one side and we have lion's mane on the other side. There is that little inner kitty in you, okay, that wants to roar and you need to nourish that kitty so it can grow up and be a big, strong cat and it can rule the kingdom. You know, that's what you remind me of right now. The last card I have here is Lion's Mane. And this is, you know, the kind of like remedy I was trying to find for you. And Lion's Mane heals. And first of all, it's used to combat your chi, your life force, any deficiency in that area. And it's used to nurture the liver, spleen, lung, heart, and kidneys. Also the gut. And I think you might need to focus on gut health because like our gut health is strongly connected to our mind and to our psychological health. So when the gut is like struggling, a lot of times our mind and our psyche can struggle. Now, I'm not a health person, nor am I like a psychologist. So don't, you know, take that as professional advice. You can just take it as like a friend's idea and you can do your own research on that. But from personal experience, I find that when I started to clean up my gut health, my mind became so much more clear. My psyche became so much more healthy and positive. And so that might be something you might want to look into. And some few tips that I have for starting that up is lemon water literally changes so much. Lemon water and just cleaning up your diet, like limiting processed foods as much as possible. And just start there. Start simple and start there. But anyways, going back to this energy, and because the card that's confirming Lion's Mane is the 7 of Cups, and that shows me that there's a lot of confusion still in your aura and in your mind right now. And so that's why we want to kind of clean up our mind. And I also feel like you could start by cleaning up your room, doing some spring cleaning there. Also, just getting these back burner thoughts out of your mind and onto paper, or getting negative thoughts out of your mind and onto paper is a really good way to just clean it out. Also, cognitively processing things, talking to people, talking to professionals, stuff like that, really good way to start to purge that out. Like, don't let negative energy just sit in you. We have to move it out, even through exercise and stuff. Great way to move it out, sweat it out, stuff like that. Anyways, going back to this Lion's Mane card. This card's guidance talks about power. Okay, so again, that theme of power coming in, and how to express yourself in a focused way, in an intentional way. And this talks about feeling regal, having a regal and generous presence. So kind of like a king or queen that is so giving, so kind, so benevolent, right? Think of that. Like if Jon Snow were to be king, the benevolence he has, or like his father, Ned Stark. Wait, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones. Okay, but like Ned Stark, benevolent leadership energy. I think that's something that the universe kind of wants you to learn and step into. And watch out for overconsumption of things and blocking the flow of love, blocking the flow of balance as well. You could be like a little extreme right now. And powerful, and this card says power isn't powerful when you put others or yourself down. That's not powerful, okay? Power is uplifting yourself and others. That is true power. Power is making yourself shine and helping other people shine too. And the thing with you is you wield such a raw, strong power that if you're not conscious and intentional with it, it can actually be quite destructive. If you overlook it, it can be quite destructive. But when you see it in yourself and you direct it to yourself and to others, wow, you uplift yourself and everyone around you. It's amazing the kind of healing that you do for yourself and for the people around you. And I think that is where the theme of compassionate leadership comes in, and how you're going to be a leader is that by you nourishing yourself and then nourishing everyone around you, you'll start to help your circle nourish themselves, and then they start to nourish everyone else around them, and it becomes this really beautiful chain reaction that comes out. Like you're going to start up a healing within your group of friends, within your family, or something you do is the way you heal. It's very public in a way, but it's inspiring. And maybe that's why you're afraid to heal, because it's a little public, because we're afraid of that vulnerability, but we gotta let that vulnerability come through. Okay, am I channeling any other messages? Just take a deep breath in and out. I think that might be all the messages I have for right now. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. Whenever you see it is when you're supposed to receive it. It was a lot of fun doing this reading for you. Like I said, make sure to check out my links down below for more content, and follow me on other social medias. I'm super, super active on Twitter. I post every day, multiple times a day. So it's a great way to sort of get little messages here and there from me. But I'm also active on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok quite a bit. So I hope to see you on that platform. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.